Well, basketball season is just 4 days away, and both teams are gearing up to make some noise.
And the offseason seems to have answered many questions about what lies ahead in the winter months.
Thank you for joining us. Golden Eagle Sports Report starts right now.
Slam! Dunk! Oh, that's a poster.
Live from the Jeannie Hayes Virtual Studio at Marquette University, this is Golden Eagle Sports Report.
Marquette gets the rebound, and the champions have gone down!
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kristen Parisi, joined by Gabriel Cicerica. We start tonight with breaking news. Marquette men's soccer coach Louis Bennett announced on Wednesday morning that he will be stepping down after 18 years at the helm of the men's team.
Bennett led the men's soccer team to 2 Big East regular season titles in 2011 and 13.
Bennett also helped Marquette to its first NCAA tournament victory and 2 Sweet 16s during his time with the Golden Eagles.
Marquette Athletics says a national search for a new head coach will begin immediately. But Kristen, the Marquette faithful could not be more excited for basketball season, and head coach Megan Duffy and the Marquette women's basketball team are gearing up to start year 5 of the Megan Duffy era.
Head coach Megan Duffy and company look to build off a successful campaign last season that saw the Golden Eagles make another NCAA tournament appearance.
And the Golden Eagles finished 21-11 last season with an in-conference record of 13-7. This was good enough for 5th place in the Big East.
Marquette started off the 2022 season taking the Horns down and out of the Texas Longhorns, marking this victory as the women's highest-ranked win in program history.
And Kristen, they followed up this victory only a few short months after by beating the number 4 ranked UConn Huskies in what was the first time the women's team has ever defeated the Huskies.
And that win was the icing on the cake for Megan Duffy as she became the 4th player to ever beat legendary UConn coach Gino Auriemma as both a player and a coach, and that was an exciting game. I was there covering it, and she joined some pretty elite company.
Absolutely, and after a heartbreaking loss to Southern Florida in the first round of the NCAA tournament, the women's team were left with one difficult task: replacing Big East All-Conference forward Chloe Murata.
Coach Duffy has taken the challenge head-on, bringing in 4 new forwards for this upcoming season. The newcomers include Lehigh transfer and Patriot League Player of the Year Franny Honger and junior college transfer from Gulf Coast State Abby Cracknell. Alongside them are the talented freshman pair of Skylar Forbes and Hallie Weiss.
But Kristen, Duffy wasn't done just yet, as the Golden Eagles bring in 2 new guards in hopes of strengthening her depth after the loss of first-team all-freshman guard Emily LaChapelle. These transfers include Lee Volker from Duke and Bridget Utker from Central Michigan.
Coach Duffy and staff do have a lot to figure out going into the 2023 campaign, but they are excited for the challenge, Gabe.
And the 2023-2024 campaign is a season full of question marks for the Golden Eagles.
With all that has changed, Marquette has still managed to earn the respects of their peers.
And in the latest Big East coaching poll, the women's team find themselves projected to finish 3rd place in the conference, just behind UConn and Creighton.
This is 3 spots higher than what the Golden Eagles were ranked last season.
And their transition to a high major school can be difficult, but Coach Megan Duffy believes that Franny Honger will make an impact right away.
Somebody that was an all-league player of the year in the Patriot League at Lehigh, just can score the basketball, she can rebound. I think one of the things she wanted to do was just have the challenge of playing at a different, higher level. So she's been awesome from the leadership side, fitting in with our girls. She's a workhorse, and it's one of those players that said, I'll kind of do, coach, whatever you need me to do, whether that's score or rebound, defend, make the assist. So she's been easy to kind of mesh in with our returning players as well.
And they're going to need that because after the departure of Chloe Murata, the Golden Eagles are in desperate need of a replacement. And all eyes turn to forward Liza Carlin. The double-double machine believes that with her supporting cast, including Honger, she'll have some help filling in those shoes.
I think I have a lot of pieces around me to help me do that. I think, you're never going to replace a Lauren Van Clunen. You're never going to replace like a Chloe Murata. But I have a Franny Hattinger this year I'm very excited for. And then we have some great freshmen. So I know it's not going to be all me, and I have all the pieces in place to help me fill those shoes.
And Jordan King is coming off a career season, and Coach Duffy is not the only one to see her growth. After solidifying her spot on the All-Big East first team last season, King is projected to do it again, being named to the preseason All-Big East team, and she is in some good company. Meanwhile, her teammate Larsa Conlon is receiving some nods and is an honorable mention for the Big East preseason. The Marquette women's basketball team will soar into the season Monday at the Al McGuire Center, where they'll take on the UT Martin Skyhawks.
And with the women's basketball season right around the corner, I think it's only right to bring back everyone's favorite preview game, This or That. We welcome in beat reporters Trevor Hilson and Matt Baltz. Thank you for joining me.
Great to be on.
Thanks for having us.
And this game is as simple as it sounds. I will give you a question and you'll have to answer, or I'll give you a question or scenario and you have to answer between the two. Either this or that. Let's hop straight into it. For the first question, who will be the biggest loss for Marquette? Will it be Emily LaChapelle or Chloe Murata? Trevor, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think this one's pretty easy. It's Chloe Murata, the All-Big East senior last season. She averaged 15 and 9 in the year. Her number was the one that was called in late game situations along with Jordan King. I mean, the heart and soul of that team. It's pretty apparent that she's going to be the biggest loss this season.
Yeah, I'm going to go Chloe Murata as well. It's going to be difficult for any program really, but Marquette especially, to replace that combination of leadership and impact.
Absolutely. And with that being said, which of the returning players will have the biggest impact on winning for the team? Will it be Jordan King or Liza Carlin? Matt, I'll go with you this time.
I'm going to go Jordan King. She's clearly this team's leader. She's going to have to step it up in her 5th season. She has raised her points per game in each of her last 3 seasons, and as we mentioned before in the show, she was named to the Cheryl Miller preseason watch list. So really look for Jordan King to be this team's leader this year.
Yeah, King, All-Big East first team last season, on the preseason team as well. She averaged 16 points per game and 4 assists as well last season. She, like Matt said, heart and soul of this team. She's going to be the big leader. It's her farewell tour, and expecting big things from her this season.
Absolutely, and it's hard to bet against Jordan King. Next question is, who is a bigger threat to the women? Is it Creighton or Villanova? Trevor, we'll start with you.
Yeah, Creighton was 22 and 9 last season and 15 and 5 in the conference. They bring back their 3 leading scorers: Lauren Jensen, Morgan Molly, and Emma Ronzik. They all averaged over 13 points a game. We're all on the Big East first team last season, and they're in the preseason honor as well this year. That team is just loaded. They're going to be a tough one to beat in the conference.
And for you, Matt?
I'm going to disagree with Trevor here. I'm really going to go with Villanova. They won 30 games last year. That's quite a bit. They also bring back their All-Big East second-team returning guard, Lucy Olson. They got a tough non-conference schedule to start the year this year, but look for them to be battle-tested as they enter conference play.
And Matt, following that question, do you think that the women are going to be able to make the NCAA tournament, or are they NIT bound?
I think that the women will be back to the NCAA tournament. However, how far they go is really going to depend on King's leadership for me, and it's also going to depend on how the underclassmen are able to mesh with the transfers.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think this team can go as far as they want to take it. I think as long as the veterans and the newcomers mesh, like Matt said, this is a team led by King, Carlin, and Rose Nkumu. If Cracknell, Volker, Hottinger, and Mackenzie Hare can all provide roles as well to the team, I think that they can go really far.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. A cohesive team could definitely go really far this year. And who do you guys think will lead the team in three-point percentage by the end of the season? Do you think it'll be Jordan King, Mackenzie Hare, or even someone else, Trevor?
I think it's going to be Mackenzie Hare. She had a great first year last year, shot 31% from beyond the arc, averaged 7 points a game. She was on the All-Big East first-year team. I think if she can be a little more disciplined beyond the three-point line and take some better looks, I think that she could easily be the best three-point shooting player on the team this season. She can shoot. It's just a matter of if she takes the right ones.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Trevor again here. Mackenzie Hare, with a lot of departures, whether it's transfers or graduates, Mackenzie Hare is going to be asked to step up and really have a bigger role in this year's offense. So I think, more shots equals more points. However, if they're good shots, that's going to lead to more efficiency. So I think if she's more efficient, I think you will see that 31% rise.
Yeah, I agree. Expect that 31% to be the floor of her shooting percentage this season.
Bear with me, but I think Franny Hottinger has a chance of being a dark horse candidate for that one. But moving on, out of the 2 incoming freshmen, who will average the most points? Will it be Skylar Forbes or Hallie Weiss? Matt?
I'm going to go Skylar Forbes. To start with Hallie Weiss, we saw her with a brace in Wednesday's scrimmage, or open practice, I should say. So we're not quite sure what's going on with her. She still had basketball activities, one-on-one with coaches. However, back to Forbes, she scored in bunches in high school, is used to scoring a lot, and she should have a real good opportunity early in the non-con to really play her way into this Golden Eagles rotation.
I absolutely agree with you there, Matt. With a smaller lineup and the loads of guards that Megan Duffy has this season, Forbes is going to have a bigger opportunity. She's going to have a lot bigger role, and I think that she will score more as well.
And thank you for your answers, but we are all out of time. Coming up, what are people saying about the men's basketball team? Find out after the break.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Have you ever seen somebody treated unfairly because of the color of their skin?
Do you guys know what it means to have white privilege?
What is racism and what do you think about it?
Talk to young children about what racism is, giving them the language to understand it. They can be disruptors. They can shape and shift culture.
We may not always know the answer, but we'll try and help you learn.
You don't have to have all the answers, but that doesn't mean we can't start.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
What are you looking for?
And welcome back to Golden Eagle Sports Report. Once again, I'm Gabriel Cicerrica.
And I am Kristen Parisi. And everyone, year 3 of the Shaka Smart era is set to begin on Monday, and the expectations could not be higher.
You said that right. And after winning both the Big East regular season and the conference championship, the men's basketball team is no longer seen as the underdog.
Shaka Smart's squad looks to build off last year's historical run.
And after being heavily doubted from the start, the men went on to win the Big East Conference en route to being a number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament.
And even after being bounced out of the March Madness tournament in the second round at hands to Michigan State, the men ended the season as the number 6 ranked team in the country.
But now, the men enter the 2023-24 season with most of their championship squad returning, only losing Olivia Smaxton's Prosper to the NBA. And just before the season tips off, the squad gave the Marquette faithful a peek at what's to come, hosting both an open practice and a team scrimmage.
And at the annual blue and gold scrimmage, the blue team, consisting of last year's starting 5 minus Stevie Mitchell, were the heavy favorites.
Favorites for sure, Kristen, but the gold team gave them a run for their money in the 30-minute game.
Split into 2 15-minute halves, the blue team comes out swinging, hitting shots, and picking up the kills on defense.
And although the gold team heads in a break down 42-33, sophomore guard Chase Ross leads the gold team to victory with a game-high 17 points.
Ross was one of 5 gold players, scoring more than 10 points in that team scrimmage.
Let's see if Ross can take that next step. Meanwhile, the next time the men are in action, it will count. And everyone inside of that locker room knows exactly what they are capable of.
After 2 straight years of being picked 9th in the Big East coaches poll, the Golden Eagles are finally favorites to win the Big East.
This is the first time since the 2013-14 season that Marquette was picked as a conference favorite.
The Big East is not the only one taking notice of Marquette's potential this season. The Associated Press's preseason poll has Marquette coming in as the 5th best team in the country.
This is Marquette's highest preseason ranking since 1977, when they were the number 3 team going into the season.
And not only were they number 3 team going into the season, they won the national championship before. So Marquette is getting some pretty high praise, and unlike some other Big East teams, Marquette is returning 4 of its 5 starters from last season while also retaining most of their bench rotation.
And the Golden Eagles also welcome in 3 promising first years, Al Amadou, Zayd Lowry, and Trey Norman, to add to their bench depth.
And you said while adjusting to the college style of play can be difficult, head coach Shaka Smart believes Lowry's tenacious style of play will be big this season.
A little bit taller, a little bit longer. He's a heck of a mover. That's the best thing about him. His body moves around the floor well, and that is so important in a style of play like ours because we value multiple efforts. He's just getting started. I thought he did some really good things today. But at the same time, there were some plays today where he wasn't tough enough, he wasn't mean enough, he wasn't violent enough. That, as a freshman, is probably going to be the case, at least early on.
And as for the returning core, one name is as good as gold. Sophomore forward Ben Gold. Smart says Gold is poised to have a breakout season, and he's not the only one who's been noticing Gold's improvement.
I would just say his confidence. He's handling the ball a lot more. When he gets open, he's shooting. There's no conscience. It's going up. I mean, you saw today. Every time he's open, it's going up. So he's just growing as a player. He's gotten a lot stronger, and just the belief in himself. He has so much potential, and he still has so much more growth to go, and he's going to be a great player.
And another second-year player that will be taking on a bigger role is Chase Ross. With defense and tenacity being the trademark of Marquette basketball, Smart feels Ross has what it takes to make his mark on the floor.
And we try to get all our guys to understand basketball is a game of mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. I mean, today he was 8 for 17. So he missed some shots. He had 4 turnovers, but he had 17 points, 3 assists. He was all over the place on the defensive end. Got some big rebounds. And he was a presence out there for his team that contributed to them winning. He just makes you feel better when you have him out there on the court in the same uniform as you. So very excited about the growth.
And the big 3 in Tyler Kolek, Oso Ighodaro, and Cam Jones are coming off career seasons, and they're expected to pick up right where they left off. And after winning Big East Player of the Year, Tyler Kolek is the favorite to go back-to-back as he is crowned the preseason Player of the Year. Meanwhile, Cam Jones and Oso Ighodaro also earned preseason honors as they were named to the preseason All-Big East second team. And finally, the men kick off their national championship campaign Monday at Pfizer Forum, welcoming Northern Illinois.
And what better way to preview the men's season than welcoming in our basketball beat reporters Kaylin Wright and Jack Albright to debate some of the hottest topics surrounding the men's team. Welcome, both of you.
Happy to be on here. Thanks for having us.
You guys are excited, so we're going to get right into it. Is this an overreaction or an underreaction? Marquette being ranked number 5 in the AP preseason rankings. Should they be higher? Should they be lower? What are y'all thinking?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's a pretty accurate reaction, coming off the historic season like you guys talked about in the show, winning the regular season, winning the tournament, achieving the highest ranked in the NCAA tournament in program history at that number 2 seed. It's safe to say the expectations are through the roof for this team, so I think, as well as retaining that veteran core as well, so I think 5 is a good spot to be for them.
All right, Jack?
I have to agree with Kaylin here. I think it's not too high or too low. They're right where they should be. Let's not beat around the bush here. Marquette returns so much talent that any lower is a little bit too low for them. And the rest of the teams above them, you look at Michigan State, you look at Kansas, You look at Duke, all the players they returned. That's a little bit too high. I think number 5 is right where the Golden Eagles should be.
I'm going to say that I still think they're a top 10 team, but I feel like after the season they had, they had a great season, but getting bounced in that second round of the tournament, I think would have gotten them maybe 7 or 8, but Marquette's always been able to prove everyone wrong, so we'll see what happens this season. But yes or no, the team without Omax will be fine.
100% they're going to be fine. Yes, you lose Omax, you lose a starter in every game last year, but you return upwards of 90% of last year's scoring. And David Joplin coming in, yes, you won't have the defensive ability and versatility that Omax brought, but you bring in more offense. And Shaka Smart understands this. He's going to work up some screens. David Joplin's going to be open a lot in the corner. You saw that in the blue and gold scrimmage. I look to David Joplin to take a big leap this year and really fill Omax's shoes.
I'm going to say no. Honestly, you make some good points, but I think, like you said, they're going to lose a lot of that defense that Omax brought. And can Joplin make it up with that offense? I'm not so sure. I'm not convinced yet. So I think it's going to be a bigger loss than they're expecting it to be.
There's a reason that he's playing in the NBA right now. He's just too good. So I think that is a big piece to replace, but, we'll see what happens. But yes or no, this year's recruiting class and incoming first-year class will be better than last year's.
No. I'm going to say no on that one. I think, highlight Zay Lowry, great player. I've seen him in the scrimmage, 10 points, most of it out of all the first years. But, comparing that to Sean and Chase last year, it just doesn't really compare in that talent-wise. Chase getting a lot of minutes and Sean and Chase both wreaking defense, wreaking all of the defensive mentality that Shaka has always emphasized. So I don't think it really compares.
Yeah. What do you think?
I have to say the versatility of last year's first years just puts it above this year's first year class. I look at Ben Gold. That offensive ability, it really changes the floor. A 6'11" forward, and he's shooting the 3. You look at Chase Ross, very, very good on defense and has that offensive athleticism, great in transition. And Sean Jones wreaking havoc on defense, like Kalen mentioned. Yes, this year's first year class is good, but I think because of the versatility of last year's, the now sophomore class, they're a little bit above.
Yeah, Shaka has raved about what Sean Jones and Chase Ross has done, and you even saw it in the scrimmage. So that this year's first-year class might have a little bit of competition if they want to be better than what last year's was. But yes or no, Tyler Kolek will win the Bob Cousy Award this season. Jack?
Yes, he will. He's the best point guard in the country. I know there are a lot of other really talented guards that run the point of the offense for other teams, but Tyler Kolek did so good last year, he's only going to get better. I look to him to stay consistent from start to finish throughout the year, and you're going to really see his ability when the game slows down, the acres of space he's given in Marquette's offense. You're going to see how good his passing ability is, and I only expect the shooting to go even higher as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. Finishing last year top 5 in the nation, assists per game. And I think he's going to come back hungry for more. You think that thumb injury in the NCAA tournament, and he did not play as well as he should have in that Michigan State game. So I think he's going to look to build on that, and I think that's all going to culminate to winning that award.
Well, we'll see what happens at the end of the season. But yes or no, a player on this team will get drafted in the NBA in the next, I'm going to say 2 years. The next 2 years.
Next 2 years. Ooh. I'm going to say it's going to be Chase Ross. I've raved about him a lot, a couple of minutes ago, and I know people think Oso, but Chase Ross does so much for this Marquette team. I look at his athleticism, I look at him in transition. Last year, a lot of questions were about how confident is this guy on offense. I've only seen improvements in what we've been able to see from him play in both the open scrimmage and the open practice. I look to Chase Ross to put himself in a national spotlight this season and really put himself in conversations for the NBA draft.
I do think he is going to be a sleeper pick for sure. Kaylin, do you agree or do you think someone else?
I think that's a good choice, but I also think Oso is a pretty easy choice.
I would say that too.
Size, athleticism, and how often do you see a center bring the ball up the court? Ball handling skills is so important, exactly. So definitely Oso is a pretty easy choice for me.
And he even said that he tested the waters. He sent some stuff to NBA teams and he got some things, and he already said he's probably not going to be taking his COVID year. So we're probably going to see his name in the draft. Whether or not it'll be called is a different story. But moving on, yes or no, the team will make it past the second round of March Madness tournament this season. I think, barring anything, do you think it's going to happen, or will the March woes continue?
I'm going to say I don't think they're going to make it past the second round. I'm sorry to break it to you. But I think, the thing they struggle the most with is with sneaky teams like Michigan State is rebounding. Rebounding is so important when you're going up against those big guys. And, losing Omax as well, that's going to be a huge thing that we kind of already talked about. But, they finished last place in rebounding in the Big East last season. So I mean, if someone can find a way to make that up, I could see it, but right now, I don't think so.
Jack, quick here.
I think it's difficult to predict where a team's going to finish before
Yes.
the bracket
True.
comes out. I think that plays a big
Or
role.
even when the bracket comes out.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, it's March Madness after all. So I'm going to say yes, though. I think they make it to the second weekend. I could see them Elite Eight.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Thank you both for joining us. We can't wait to see what the season holds. But coming up, I give us a final take on both basketball seasons. So stick around.
I couldn't.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Roll over. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting. Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor. It's time we take a step forward, come together,
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
For some Marquette fans, Christmas is coming early. Monday morning will be a good one for both Marquette basketball programs and the Marquette faithful as the college basketball season will return. March seems like an eternity ago, but since the final buzzer sounded on the Marquette basketball seasons, both teams have been preparing for the next journey. For the women's team, they saw their season rim out, literally, in the first round of the NCAA tournament against South Florida. This is the second straight NCAA appearance where they failed to make it to the round of 32 after losing to Virginia Tech in 2021. The season was a roller coaster, but the women had some big wins, including their first ever win over the UConn Huskies and upsetting Texas in the battle for Atlantis. But last year they had the task of replacing Lauren Van Clunen, and this year it does not get any easier, as Duffy has to find a way to replace the heart and soul of Marquette women's basketball in Chloe Murata. Her passion for the game, the ability to stand tall down low, will be hard to replace. But Liza Carlin and transfer Franny Hottinger are up to the challenge as they go back to their high school days as AAU teammates. They find their way back years later as Hottinger transfers to Marquette for her final collegiate season. Will the chemistry find its way back? Only time will tell. Duffy's returning core pieces in Jordan King, Rose Nkumu, Liza Carlin, and Claire Cafis, but they welcome in 6 newcomers to the family. Will the new era be a success, or will it take some time to gel? King and Cafis are running out of time to make their mark as they are entering their final collegiate season, and they have yet to win a conference title. They came close in 2020 and 2021, but failed to bring it home. The clock is ticking on Duffy and her team to make some noise in the Big East. And with UConn getting Paige Beckers back, it just got a little harder. But the locker room feels confident something special is brewing up. For the men's basketball team, their national championship journey ended right as it started at the hands of Tom Izzo and Joey Hauser in the round of 32. They are expecting to make a run far into April, but they could not escape the first weekend. It was a magical season for Shaka Smart's squad as they went from projected 9th in the Big East to winning the regular season title outright in lieu to becoming a top 10 team in the country. The season started out shaky, losing 2 heartbreakers to Purdue and Mississippi State. And then they went on a tear, crushing Baylor, and heads finally started to turn. Going on multiple win streaks, Marquette cracked the top 25 and never left. They won the Big East Conference outright, and Marquette was feeling good until they weren't. But with retaining their team and retaining a bunch of starters and veterans, will they have the chance to win it all? On Monday, they will raise 2 Big East banners, but they won't be satisfied until they raise the biggest one of all. That's all we have for you tonight. Good night, Marquette.